Here's a super simple guide on how to build, fly, and land your very first plane in Kerbal Space Program. We'll start by heading into the spaceplane hangar and choosing a command pod that looks like it would belong on a plane. I'd suggest the Mark I cockpit. Now behind this, we want to place a liquid fuel tank, specifically not rocket fuel. The liquid fuel tanks are plain white, but if you're unsure, simply right-click the part and you should only see liquid fuel, no oxidizer. Optionally, you can add another fuel tank behind this, but instead I'm going to use a special fuel tank called the engine nacelle, which has a built-in air intake, which jet engines need to function. You can find this in the aerodynamics tab. There are a few similar parts like this, such as the supersonic intake or the engine pre-cooler. Any of these will work fine here. Now we want a jet engine. I'd suggest using the Weasley here, which is a bit low powered, but it does the job. Now let's add some wings. I opt for a pair of delta wings, putting them towards the rear of the plane. On the back section of these wings, we need to place down some elevons, which will allow us to control the plane. When placing these, you will likely need to rotate them using the W, A, S and D keys, as well as Q and E to get them aligned properly. Now that we've done that, let's add a vertical stabilizer, which stops our plane from drifting from side to side. You might want to just add a single fin, but you could also add multiple at an angle, or even place them on the wings, as I choose to do here. Next, we want some landing gear, so that we can actually take off. I'd suggest placing these on your wings. When doing this, make sure that snapping is disabled, as denoted by this circle icon in the bottom left corner, rather than a hexagon. Now our plane is about ready, but lastly, I'm going to add a parachute on the top of it, just in case things go wrong. Now, before we launch, it's a good idea to check that our plane is actually stable. To do this, activate the center of mass and center of lift overlays in the bottom left corner. The center of lift should always lie a bit behind the center of mass for stable flight. But just like that, we're ready for takeoff. Now when you click launch, your plane should spawn on the runway. To take off, simply activate your engines using the spacebar and throttle up to gain speed. You can then pull up using the S key, and just like that, we're in the air. You can then retract your landing gear using the G key. To keep the plane flying straight, activate your SAS. Now let's look at the flight controls. To roll the plane, use the Q and E keys, and you can then pitch up or down using the S and W keys respectively. Additionally, A and D control yaw, though this is less frequently used. To fully test this plane, I suggest flying over to this island over here. This is because this island also has a small runway, where we can try to land. When coming into land, line up with the runway and make sure to cut your engines early, as your plane will do a decent job of gliding. Remember, you can always fire them up again if you're coming in a bit too slow, though it is much harder to slow down if you're coming in too fast. Now for the hard part, actually landing. Try to come down at a maximum speed of about 100 meters per second, and make sure you redeploy your landing gear with the G key. When your wheels touch the ground, press and hold the B key to activate your brakes, which will slow down the craft to a halt. If you do this correctly, you'll land safely without even needing to use the emergency parachute. Do let me know how your first flight goes in the comments, and be sure to subscribe so you never miss another Kerbal Physics tutorial.